Good morning. Good morning. I was studying Mark chapter 8 last night, and one of the miracles in that chapter was Jesus healing the blind man. And he used saliva. He spit on his hand and he touched the man's eyes. And I wanted to know why saliva, because when you think about it, if somebody walked up to us today, we sit in church service and we have a blind family member and the preacher walks up to them with saliva from their mouth and touch their eyes, all of us gonna look at him like he or she is crazy. Like, what are you doing? That's nasty. But back then, saliva was believed to have healing properties, and Jesus used something that the people could recognize, nothing that wasn't too unfamiliar to them. He used many different methods to heal. He used the touch method. Sometimes he didn't even have to show up. He sent the word remotely. He spoke the word. He used mud and spit, or did nothing visible at all. Think about the woman who touched the hem of his garment. He didn't do anything. The virtue just left his body and healed her. So there is no one way to how God moves when it comes to healing. The miracle wasn't a group miracle. It was one man that Jesus took aside and touched him directly. And he used something physical and intentional like spit. The healing was not a performance, it was personal for the blind man. He wanted to be healed, and it required the man's participation, because he could have been like, ew, don't put your spit on me. He could have been disgusted when Jesus started making the mud with spit. Because whether you know it or not, I worked right next to a disabilities center for years. And even though some of them can't see, they can see a little bit. They can see shadows, some can't see at all, but their other senses are amplified. So I'm sure that man knew what Jesus was doing. So he had to participate in that thing in order for that miracle to come alive. Now, once he put the spit on the man's eyes, he told him to go wash it. So until the blind man participated, the miracle didn't work. Faith without works is dead. He had to do his part in order for the miracle to work. So Jesus mixed the mud with his spit, put it on the man's eyes, and then told him to go wash it. Now, had he been disobedient and not washed the spit off of his eyes, who knows whether or not he would have been healed. The healing was not complete until he did it. Some of our breakthroughs require our obedience, movement, and participation. And without it, we stay stuck. Now, this miracle also challenged religious expectations because, first of all, you did this with spit and mud, ew, and on top of it, you did it on the Sabbath. Baby, they had a whole entire problem with this because we don't do nothing on the Sabbath. They were disgusted. Jesus did not follow their polished, church approved methods. he did what needed to be done in order to heal the sick. He moved. So sometimes God will move in ways that offend our expectations, but still accomplish his goal, his purpose. The spit came from Jesus' mouth. His words came from his mouth. Breath comes from our mouth. Now think about this. God formed man from dust. He used dust, mud. He used his spit to mix with the dust to heal the blind man's sight. He used all of his creation to restore what was broken in the blind man. So I said all of that to say, do not reject the method. It may not look appealing, but if it gets the job done, boo, let God be God and do what needs to be done in order for you to receive your healing. Have an amazing day.